He was broke, homeless, sleeping in a van with nowhere to go. His dreams were bigger than his situation, but reality kept punching harder. This is the real story of Will Smith, the man who once had nothing and went on to inspire millions. A story about dreams, downfall, and a rise so powerful, it would change entertainment forever. Willard Carroll Smith Jr. was born on September 25, 1968, in West Philadelphia, a neighborhood filled with contrast. On one side, jazz music, tight community, and laughter. On the other, crime, tension, and struggle. His father, Willard Sr., was a U.S. Air Force veteran and a refrigeration engineer. He was strict, disciplined, and tough, a man who believed in hard work. His mother, Caroline, was a school board administrator, educated, calm, and nurturing. Together, they gave Will structure, but also pressure. From a young age, Will learned the value of work. But what set him apart wasn't just discipline, it was his imagination, his ability to entertain, his voice, his presence, his belief that he was meant for something greater. In school, he was called Prince, always smooth, always smiling, but behind that charm was a burning desire to win. As a teen, Will discovered hip-hop, but he didn't want to follow the crowd. He didn't want violence, profanity, or street bragging. Instead, he rapped about everyday life, with clever wordplay, with humor, with joy. At just 16, he teamed up with his childhood friend Jeffrey Towns, better known as DJ Jazzy Jeff. Together, they formed DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. In 1988, they dropped an album that changed their lives. He's the DJ, I'm the rapper. It was the first double album in hip-hop history, and it won them the first ever Grammy in rap for their song, Parents Just Don't Understand. Will Smith became a household name, TV shows, awards, tours, magazine covers. He was young, rich, and famous, but success can disappear faster than it arrives. By 20, Will Smith had earned millions. But he didn't save. He didn't invest. He spent it on cars, clothes, houses, and parties. Then came the reality check. The IRS audited him. They demanded back taxes he never paid, nearly $2.8 million. And when he couldn't pay, they began seizing his possessions. At one point, Will Smith was so broke, he had to sleep in a van parked outside a friend's house. The fame was gone. The money? Gone. His friends? Gone. He was back to being just Will from West Philly, only this time he was famous and broke. With no money and almost no hope, Will knew he had to start over. That's when a friend introduced him to music executive Benny Medina, who had an idea for a sitcom loosely based on Will's life. Will was skeptical. He had no acting experience, no training. But when Quincy Jones, a music and TV legend, told him, "You're doing this today, or you're never doing it at all," Will listened. He auditioned that very night. 3 months later, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air hit the airwaves. Will Smith's charisma, timing, and raw emotional range made him an overnight TV star. But The Fresh Prince was more than comedy. It was culture. It spoke to issues of race, class, family, and growing up. And behind the scenes, Will wasn't just acting, he was studying. He learned to read scripts, memorize lines, understand the camera, and most importantly, he learned the business. The 1990s became Will Smith's decade. After Fresh Prince, he broke into film with Bad Boys in 1995. Then came Independence Day, one of the highest-grossing movies of all time, and then Men in Black, a global phenomenon. He turned action films into blockbusters, comedy into power, and Will Smith into a brand. He wasn't just successful. He was rewriting what success looked like for black actors in Hollywood. Will Smith's real power didn't come from the camera. It came from his mindset. He believed in discipline, hard work, and self-mastery. He read books, listened to mentors, pushed limits. He once said, "The only thing that I see that is distinctly different about me is I'm not afraid to die on a treadmill," meaning he would never give up, not ever. He believed that God gave him a gift, and his job was to use it fully. Will didn't just rise alone, he created opportunities for others. He mentored young actors, supported charities, visited schools. His movies often carried themes of hope, second chances, and redemption, because those were the stories he lived. From Pursuit of Happiness to Ali, he told real stories that touched real hearts, and millions watched, not just to be entertained, but to be inspired. Will Smith became a motivational speaker. His YouTube channel exploded with life lessons and raw behind-the-scenes content. He opened up about fear, about failure, about doubt. He jumped from helicopters, ran marathons, faced public criticism, all while preaching one thing: you are not your circumstances. You are your choices. And for a kid who once had nowhere to sleep, that meant everything. Will Smith's journey is far from over. But his life teaches us something timeless. That fame can fade, but discipline lasts. And that failure doesn't define you unless you stop trying. And that even when you're sleeping in a van, you can still dream like a king. He didn't just change his own life, he changed Hollywood. And through his journey, he's still changing lives today. Will Smith once slept in a van, but he never gave up on his dream. And because he didn't, the world will never forget his story.